What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another live sales call today. So today we have a call with a personal injury lawyer, and I've worked with him before, but now he wants to bring on his whole team, right? So previously we ran ads and we were just trying to get him some cases for individually, and he saw that he was getting so great results that he wanted to bring his whole entire firm in. And so today I'm going to be talking with Kevin, who is the lawyer, and we're going to be talking to the marketing director as well. His name is Paul. So we got a couple minutes here before it begins. And so if you guys enjoy these live sales calls, watching me hop on these calls and seeing how it goes on, for my agency and things like that, let me know by dropping a thumbs up on this video and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. So I'm super excited. Hopefully this deal closes because it potentially could be a pretty big one, right? Like I said, we ran ads for him in the past and now he wants to bring his firm in, so we would pretty much be running ads for his whole entire firm, right? They're a pretty big firm over in Arizona. So let's go see how this plays out. All right, guys, let's make this call and hope it goes through.
Hello, this is Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, it's Jordan. How you doing?
Hey, Jordan. Doing well. Thanks, sir. Thank you.
Awesome. Did you want to three-way Paul in?
Yeah, let's get Paul on the line, and then the three of us can talk, and I'll kind of outline how I envision this or what I'd like to see happen in this conversation. We'll take it from there.
Okay, great. Go ahead and add him in.
Okay, let me see here. Okay, very oddly enough, that did not work. Hang on.
Okay.
Hey, Jordan.
Yep.
Okay, can you try it from your end? Because for some reason, my phone is not letting me add him in.
Okay, let me go ahead and let me try to three-way him in right now.
Yeah, well, okay.
Hi, is that Paul? Is this Paul?
Hey, Jordan, how are you?
Hey, Paul, I'm doing good. I'm on the line with Kevin as well here.
Good. Hey, yeah, I guess I discovered for the first time that apparently my phone doesn't give me the option of adding another call if I'm not the one that initiated the first call.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's apparently what happened. Oh, interesting. yeah, because the little button that I usually can easily hit, to conference, somebody else in was not there, and I thought, oh, maybe because I answered this call from Jordan, not letting me do that.
That's good to know. Yep, that's good to know.
Well, hey, so let me tell you quickly what I'd like to see happen in this phone call. First off, Jordan, I'd like you to maybe cover for my benefit and the two of us what maybe anything new that you think you learned from the campaign that we did run that you'd like to do differently going forward, just so that we have a heads up on any ideas that you may have currently. That's one thing. And then I would like for you and Paul to talk to you about what he'd like to be able to have access to and see, to be able to track data and see how things are going there. And third, to at least start a dialogue between you two and maybe even the three of us about any kind of suggestions that we have that we may want to incorporate into the campaign moving forward. Because Paul, Jordan, as you know, I'm very much a rookie to this. Paul is much more experienced, and so I'm relying on both of you to make this the best campaign we can reasonably make it while we move forward and take it from there. So I want to make sure that Paul is in the loop on data, things like that. Of course, I still will have to be the one sharing with both of you what's happening with those calls, right? As far as the end result, what are we signing up? How's the quality? Things like that, because the campaign doesn't really control that. And without my feedback, neither of you would have any idea whether I'm getting cases that are completely worthless or getting cases that are pretty good or something in between. So that's kind of how I see it going forward. So Jordan, if Paul, if that's all right with you, and Jordan, that's all right with you, let's move forward. Jordan, give us an update of anything that you thought about that you would probably tweak or do differently and do the same as we were doing before.
Definitely. So one of the first things that I mentioned to you, Kevin, right when we kind of started was as we get more data from running the ads, we're going to be able to use that data to optimize the campaign. Now, after about a month or so in, we got some data from the ads, and so our next goal was to we were already getting you phone calls, leads were coming in, things like that. But one of our next goals was to reduce the costs of those phone calls for you. So what we would do differently pretty much is adjust some of the bidding strategies that we would do inside the campaign. Now that we have data, we know more about how much we should be spending in order to stay aggressive and competitive, because in your area, around that Phoenix area, and pretty much the Maricopa County is pretty competitive, but with the data that we have, we're able to use that to optimize the campaign. So something we would do differently is change up our bidding strategy a little bit to reduce your cost per lead. The second thing that we did, and I think you already talked about it with Paul, is that instead of sending the phone calls directly to your cell phone, and sometimes we're missing out on phone calls, and maybe if we're not following up on with the lead in a timely manner, instead of doing that, we can forward those calls to a call center instead. So that way, we're not missing out on any potential leads and potential new clients. Right.
Right, and Paul and I have talked about that. We're ready to move forward with that, which again is why I told you, Jordan, that Paul and I have decided maybe we need a little more lead time on startup, because we want to make sure that piece is in place, and that that Paul and I, or the three of us, make sure that is ready to go before you turn those ads on again.
Yeah, definitely. So whenever you have the call center, ready, we can definitely go live with the ads. If you still want to forward it directly to yourself or someone else in the firm that's available as long as they're available to take on the calls, we can do that as well. So it's really entirely up to you whether you want to forward it to a call center or maybe directly to another, colleague of yours inside the firm. So that's the option with the call center. And the third and last thing that we can do with the campaign is that you mentioned to me that you were getting some calls that came in, and they called in for something that they could have, that I think you said something, that it could have been a mistake for personal injury lead or something like that.
It's more along the line of if there's a way to tweak either the ad and the landing page to make it even more clear that we're really focused on auto, right?
Yeah.
First. And it's a little harder to focus on what level of auto. Of course, the cases I'm after, which most lawyers are after, are the
bigger cases,
mid-range to higher level ones. It's a little hard to control for that. If we can, if there's a way to tweak it so that the only people even clicking on it that we're paying for are people who have orthopedic level injuries, that'd be super. I don't know if we can really pull that off, but it should be relatively easy to tweak both of those to make it really clear this is for auto cases.
Right,
now,
right.
Does that mean that there's a case out there once in a while, a dog fight that I would have gladly taken that we miss out on because they don't know it's about dog fight? Probably. I'm willing to make that sacrifice to clean up some of the other calls that come in that shouldn't.
Yeah, so we were actually really able to clean that up for you right before we paused the campaign. So currently we're specifically just targeting auto accidents, right? So someone that's been involved in a car accident, they search up for a car accident lawyer, auto accident, then we're showing our ad to that specific person. Now before we were kind of targeting more general personal injury. Exactly.
Right.
So by removing that type of ad and that type of keyword that we were targeting previously, now we are more targeted, right? We're only targeting accident keywords specifically. So we've been able to clean up the traffic a lot there just by doing that.
Got it.
Yeah, so those are the things that pretty much would be improved on the campaign if we haven't already done so already.
Okay.
And yeah.
All right, good. Well, let's move to, we can come back to that, and obviously we're going to be continuing to discuss all of this as we move forward, but let's now move to Paul. What do you want to see from Jordan? What could Jordan provide you that will help you monitor all of this and be involved in creating the best campaign we can?
You bet. Hi, Jordan.
Hey, Paul.
Nice to meet you, and congratulations on what you've done for Kevin so far. That's great, and Kevin wouldn't have called you if you hadn't already had a great track record with with other lawyers that he knew, and so great job. Where do you live in Orange County, roughly?
I'm here in Fountain Valley, Orange County, Fountain Valley.
Okay. I had the good fortune of doing a lot of work in Newport.
Oh, super cool.
Area for a few years. Yeah,
Super
love it
cool.
over there. It's beautiful. But anyway, so what we do, so we run.
By the way, it's pretty miserable here at Phoenix Metro. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be worse, but it's like 108 today. So we already run pay-per-click in family law, bankruptcy, and probate, and we run a few different campaigns. One question I had for you is, and I've got some where we just pay for the lead, and I don't go into the Google account or see it, or we don't really strategize it. And then I've got others where, I've got access to the account and I go in and I look at it with them and we look at the cost per lead, et cetera. I as long as we're getting leads and they're good leads, it doesn't matter to me. And actually, it confuses Google when I have too many of them going, as you can relate. So I'm not that concerned about that. I do like to hear the call rail. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you what we already have set up and we can strategize about. So we already have an intake specialist who takes the calls for those other areas, and she would be sort of Kevin's main phone answerer. And we already have it set up to where if she's on another call, that goes to a call center. We use a company called Alert, which is also out there. Mm-hmm. Alert is pretty used to doing PI. And so Alert then, takes a call, we get a transcript, et cetera, and then they would forward that. Kevin would see that, et cetera. So we got some of the backstopping that we didn't have when you guys did the experiment. We also have, if you want, we have a chat bot on the landing pages. So I don't know if you recommend that or not, but I'm already paying for it. We could totally get you the script, and you could throw it on the landing page if you wanted to. What we found with the chat is that, we've landed a couple of divorces that way where the person feels like they're talking to a live agent, right? So they just jump on and blah, 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 blah. But you're more expert on the PI stuff than I am, and, we don't, I'm not asking for that, but if you think it will help us, then by all means, I'll get you the code and you can slap it on the landing page.
Yeah, so with the landing page, we can always split test things, right? We can have two different landing pages and send traffic to both and then see which one you like better.
That's great. That's great. And that might be good. That kind of leaves the other thing that Kevin and I did talk about. We have a fellow who might be helping Kevin with some of the leads that aren't, that we don't want to turn down, but that might not be worth Kevin's time. So over time, we might want to create an A/B test and do a landing page where we have one of our lawyers' pictures on there. But we can cross that bridge when we come to it. But basically, that's it. I mean, what I'd love to be able to do is get you, when we're ready, get you the phone number of the intake person so that your designated phone number rings to her.
Okay, yeah.
And then everything's already set up for the call center to backstop her. I'll get you the code on the chat, and then you can, if you want to try two different splits on it. And then what I usually do is just a weekly call. And Kevin is, still in charge. I'm just supporting him so he can get the benefit of what the firm's already doing in other areas. We could do a weekly call. If you don't think it's necessary, we don't have to, but I like to do a weekly call and just kind of talk about what we're seeing, what kind of stuff we're doing, whether we should target other zip codes. And,
right. So yeah, what we typically do within our agency is that we can set it up for, a bi-weekly to a monthly call where we hop on, we can go over your entire account. And that way it gives us a chance to have more data, let the ads run a little bit more, because as far as the campaign, once we set it up, things are pretty consistent, I would say, and maybe a few tweaks in here and there to kind of optimize, and that's really what we do on our end as far as management. But as far as information for you guys, if you guys want to make some type of changes or something like that, then we could always set up some type of bi-weekly, monthly call, And me and my team, we're pretty flexible on schedule. So whenever you want to reach out or anything like that, say you want to
Sure.
try something different, try something new, yeah, we're always open to that. And we can always schedule a call and do that.
Yeah, let me get some feedback on that because, I mean, I'd love to see this change, but because the volume of calls coming in probably is not going to be the same as what we are seeing, for example, with family law, just
Yeah.
because of the nature of this campaign. Maybe the weekly call isn't as necessary because we need a little more lead time to see what's happening, right? But I do like the idea of maybe, a couple times a month. So the biweekly idea, because on the one hand, the call volume is high. On the other hand, they're very expensive ads.
Yeah.
So we like to tweak them as we go. And I think that at least at first, at least for this next little while, it's going to need to be the three of us because again, I don't mind if you two are talking about data and making changes on landing pages, etc. But I've got to be on that call to let both of you know what I'm seeing, right? What kind of so I can point out, hey, we just tweak this, just get auto, but I'm still getting 3 calls a week on Med Now. How do we change that? That type of thing. And so I like that idea as well. But with my feedback being on the what kind of quality we're getting, you two can keep an eye on the quantity side.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Like I think in the beginning, just to have you and Kevin feel more comfortable, I'll be happy to hop on those calls with you and go over the data. And then once, things are, they're more dialed in, consistent, then, we can switch over to, a monthly call or whatever it is.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. A couple of other questions. One is, and Kevin's got a really good point about the volume that, it's not like we're going to have gazillion. We're not spending, I'm sure you've got clients that spend a lot and get a lot more calls. Two questions. One of them is, what I have seen some of the other folks that I work with do is shoot me a Google data sheet weekly that, like, I've seen Kevin's call row report, but do you also keep things on a Google sheet so that we see all the leads in one place so that my intake person can check it against our CRM or no?
Yeah, so with the thing with Google is that they don't accurately track leads. They actually don't like some of the conversions inside the dashboard is they don't track it, which is why I have that call rail tracking in place because it tells us exactly how many leads actually called in. Now, if you want, we can. The Google they do have their own data sheet that I could download and send it over to you, and I think I've done that before. I did send it over to Kevin.
I think I've seen that. I probably didn't.
Yeah, so yeah, we wouldn't have any issue sending that over.
That was what I was asking for a couple of months ago when we were having.
I identified 2 different things, and I think I may have successfully gotten you one of them and not the other. So, yeah.
Yeah, so we have both data sheets that we could send you. One from CallRail and one from from the Google itself.
Well, that leads to the question. I mean, as long as we, we're going to be sort of straining at the gnat here, right? We're going to get, 5 or 6 calls, and we're going to, let's make sure we milk them. I guess the question I have is the reason that I like the Google sheet on the other stuff I'm doing is A, the volume's a lot higher, and B, there's a pretty good mix of, call only and forms. And I wasn't quite sure if we're doing forms and what the mix is in terms of forms versus calls so far.
Yeah, so when we send it to the landing page, the lead has the option to fill out a contact form, which gets emailed to your intake, and they have the option to call the tracking number as well. So you'll get a mix of both the contact forms and the call leads. But like I said, Google's tracking, they don't do a good job of tracking those conversions. So sometimes like Google Sheets, it might say that you got this many leads, but in actuality, you might have gotten a different number. And that's just something that there's nothing that we can do about with Google Ads just not being able to track it as well or as accurately.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
but for now, we can survey. But it sounds like it's available, so we can look at both.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely both available. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, excellent.
And you probably wouldn't recommend, like, so I'm using this ancient software that it's not that ancient to us, but it's ancient in the sense of it's a law firm type CRM.
Mm-hmm.
It has an API, but it doesn't sound like we're getting enough forms to where. So the benefit of that is that the form goes right into my CRM, and that way I've captured it.
If my memory serves me well, and I think it does, at least on this, again, because the numbers aren't that astronomical, but I remember 3 contact forms each of the months. I know there was 3 the first month. It might have just been 2 the second month, but we can look at that. So it's not, again, right now, it hasn't been huge volume of.
Yeah, well, Carly can.
We still want to know what they are, though. We still want to know what
so,
be able to track those.
But we'll get an email when the form's filled out. So, and Carly can put it in to Captor. That's not a problem. For now, and like I said, if the volume gets higher, then we can reach out to you guys and plug in.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. Because that's just a code you put on the form site too. Right?
Yeah, and we've done that for one of our clients before. I think we just need like an API key, or your CM software could provide us some type of tutorial, and we can always plug that in for you guys.
Sure. Okay. But that like Kevin said, we don't need that for now.
Okay.
But that's all I need. I mean, do you like when we paused divorce? It took us about 2-3 weeks to get back into a really good flow. Do you find that with PI, or does it just ramp right back up when you turn it back on?
So your question is, when you pause divorce, you pause your campaign and you turn it back on, it took about 2 to 3 weeks to get it going again?
Well, to get our lead flow up where it was. So we were running for a few months, got into a really good rhythm, and then we said, okay, we're gonna this is going so well, we're gonna hire an intake person.
Mm-hmm.
And so we paused it while we hired that person, and then when we hired her, and we turned it back on about a week before she started, and then like for the first week she had nothing to do. We panicked because our ads weren't performing right, and then where everybody's like, keep calm, carry on, dude. We're gonna, and then the next 10 days, like Kevin could tell you, it was on fire.
So ideally,
I don't know if that, like when we turn this back on, if we're gonna expect a ramp up period or.
So yeah, ideally, I mean, if a campaign's already doing well, you don't want to make too many changes with it, because there's so many factors with Google's algorithm. You don't really know, whether your campaign is gonna be like, some days it's gonna do really well, and some days it's just like really slow, and you're just like what happened? You know what I mean? So there's so many factors that go into it. I wouldn't be able to tell you how long it's going to take for it to ramp up, but from my own experience and what we're doing over here, as soon as we turn on the campaign, we normally start seeing results within the first, I would say like 3 to 4 days.
Well, this in our first, obviously, what Jordan said and what Paul's experienced and what you just said about ups and downs during the campaign, absolutely. But as far as the speed of reaction when we started it, and maybe this was just a fluke, but we were starting on I think it was a Monday morning at 8 o'clock a.m.
Yeah.
Was when the campaign was supposed to actually launch, when Jordan was supposed to hit the go button. I had my first phone call off of those ads at 8:15.
Yeah.
That day.
Yeah, so the speed of it is pretty quick.
I was like, nice. Holy cow.
Yeah.
What just happened?
So,
but then, I didn't get another call that day, I don't think. But, I still, somebody saw it right that fast as we were on,
Right. So, yeah.
I've totally seen that where, we'll get like 10 calls one day and then no calls the next day. So, yeah.
Sure.
All right. Well, I think I've got what I need. I can.
Go ahead.
Jordan, it'd be good to get your contact information. And the other thing is, Kevin, we're going to need a W-9 from Jordan so that we can get him into pro law. So we can, because we want to start paying you with firm credit cards instead of Kevin's.
Okay.
I really would like that as well.
That's what Kevin's been looking forward to as well.
That's right. Like, let's cut to the chase on this phone call. So my email is P.
Okay, yeah, I think Kevin CC'd you on the email he sent me. Let me just double check that.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I'd like to have happen here, obviously, is for you two to feel very comfortable talking to each other about anything that you need to talk to each other. You don't have to always bring me into the loop. Just when as needed, you guys can do that. But I do want to make sure, like right now, before we end this call, I do want to make sure you two get that going so you know how to talk to each other, etc. Of course, I'll still be in the loop as needed, and then. But the other thing is the next action step. I just want to make sure we're clear on the next action step, which I think is that the ball is back in my and Paul's court to make sure we have things ready for the call center. You two may want to talk about the chat feature, but that's also something we can get this thing going again and then add that. So I think that we probably ought to do that. I think we get the call center thing worked out, and then we'll pick a date as we work through that. We'll pick a date probably mid-month, a week or two out from where we are, maybe a couple weeks out from where we are. Pick a date, and Paul will let you know what day we are targeting to be ready to launch again, and we'll take it from there.
Okay. Yeah. No.
And the other thing that needs to be discussed is, I think the current intent, what we have approval to do, is a budget in the range that we've been doing, right? But that's another thing we'll need to keep an eye on going forward. Do we have necessity to increase it? Do we need to decrease it for some reason? I hope not, but we'll have to continue to talk about that. But for now, our intended budget is the same that you and I were working with our first couple of months. But otherwise, I think Paul and I work on the call center. You guys, Paul, you get Paul the links that he needs to be able to look at the data, and then we'll get back with you shortly on when we think the official launch date will be as we work through the call center issues.
Okay.
That sounds about right as far as the plan going forward?
Yeah, and I think it's just, we're ready with, like I said, the call center thing's all set up. Carly, my intake person's on vacation, so she'll be back in a day or two.
Okay.
But other than that, we're probably ready to go. So Jordan, we park a credit card number with Google. Is that how that works? And then you send us an invoice as a percentage of spend. Is that how that works?
So what we do is I already have the ad account built out for you. So actually your credit card is going to be linked directly to the Google ad account. So we won't be charging you anything for the ads ever. It's going to go get paid directly to Google. And then as far as for our management fee, what we do is we send you a credit card authorization form, and we bill you through our payment processor.
Okay. Is there any way you can just so you don't want to use like QuickBooks or something like that? You want me to fill out a manual form?
Yeah, so after this call, I'll send you a credit card authorization form to your email, and then once we fill that out, I'll update that billing info inside your Google Ads account, and then as well.
Kevin already sent me that, and I replied by saying I needed the W-9, and I don't think I saw the W-9 come through, but maybe it got blocked in spam. But okay, yeah, I'll get the W-9, I'll get that forwarded, and then as soon as we set up a profile, I'll fill out the. Let me ask you a question that I don't know about Google. So I already have this card on file with another Google account. Is Google going to care?
Oh, okay. So with this other credit card that you're using for this other Google ad account, is it it's for the same company, and then are you targeting personal injury, accident keywords as well with that account?
No, it's for the same company, but it's bankruptcy, divorce, and probate, like I told you.
Okay. I don't see why there shouldn't be an issue. The only thing with Google's policy is that they don't like it if you are using two different ad accounts to target the same thing, because they don't want you to take up two ad spaces on Google. But since you're using the other ad account to target other things, then no, yeah, we shouldn't have any issues. We should be good there.
Yeah, we don't have any PI running. I do have two different divorce agencies, but one of them I buy the leads from them directly, so they're running their own Google ad account. So
Okay, that's fine.
I only have my credit card set up with one account.
Okay,
Okay, good.
Okay, yep, that should work then.
All right, guys. All right, then Jordan, we will be back with you shortly on a firm start date.
Okay, sounds good.
Other information, get you the card, etc. All right, so send us a W-2. We'll get the card information to you and the date that we want to turn it back on.
All right, sounds
again,
good.
I want you two talking about even Paul has a much better eye than I do or would on any kind of ideas or suggestions even for the landing page, because as I told you before, I'm suspecting that at some point we'll need to do some tweaking there, just not for health of even the campaign, but because We want to make sure we're in compliance with Arizona rules or guidelines on advertising. So lawyers get nervous about those types of things.
Yeah.
And so we're going to look at that as well. But by and large, I think we're safe. But we may want a couple other tweaks, like you and I have talked about in the past.
All right. Yeah, well, I'm
Thank
super responsive on email, so we're gonna always communicate there, and I'm pretty quickly on the emails.
Yeah, you've always been super responsive. In fact, Paul, you'll like this about Jordan and his outfit. And I will tell you, it was a very limited number of times when I wasn't able to pick up a call, but I heard from Jordan immediately when he saw that happen.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We try to stay on top of it.
With regard to copying you, Kevin, I mean, I think unless it's going to get buckle up your email. I mean, I think we just always copy all three of us, so we're all in the loop. That way, there's no.
Absolutely.
Because then you never have to worry about what's going on with your account, and we all know. I mean, so I don't know that there's going to be tons of correspondence, but I don't know that we need to have any conversations that you're not privy to, even though some of them might bore you.
At this point, I mean, at some point, I'd love for us to find the secret sauce that nobody else has completely discovered yet, and this thing just goes crazy on us, and then we have volume problems.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Volume problems. Right now, it's margin problems. So I'd love to turn that into volume problems, and then we can talk again. But for now, let's move accordingly.
Sounds good.
Hey, Jordan, great to meet you, Kevin. Thank you.
That's it. All right,
Likewise.
thanks, guys. We'll be in touch.
All right, talk soon, guys.
Bye.
Take care. All right, guys. So I think the call went really well. Obviously the deal did go through. I feel like I could have put a little bit more of my input in today's sales call. I felt like I'm lacking a little energy today. Maybe I didn't do the pre-ritual right. I don't think I did my pre-ritual sales call thing, whatever. But I feel like I'm lacking a little energy in today's call. And if you guys did notice it, let me. I guess let this go by, because in the other sales calls I usually put in a lot more energy. I don't know if it's hot today or what it is, but nonetheless, the deal did close. I gave up the information. They seem to enjoy me because I have worked with Kevin before and he put in a good word for me. So we're gonna continue. We'll probably work out some kinks, get ready for the campaign to launch probably the mid to end August here. I'm actually gonna go on vacation next week, so probably still have the agency's gonna run still, obviously, right? I still have virtual assistants helping me out, but mid to end of this month we're gonna have the campaign running. Let me know your thoughts on the sales call below, and hopefully you guys subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.